3, 2, 1.
What's up everyone, Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, February 9th, 2018. Today we're going to do some technical analysis. Today we're going to talk about some lines. I love lines. Haters hate lines. I get comments often, the people that hate charting, people that hate technical analysis. They always say there's just lines drawn all over the place. They don't mean anything. They don't tell us anything. Well, kind of feel like if you're looking at a chart in the first place to check price, you're looking at lines anyway, and you're trying to tell a story in your own mind. I just take a paintbrush and draw more lines to help tell the story in my own mind. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about lines, and we're going to see what we have on the screen here with Litecoin. Let's jump in. And yeah, we're waiting. Everybody's waiting. We're waiting for Bitcoin to move. We're waiting for Litecoin to move one way or another. But let's look at the lines. And we really have a clear channel from this downtrend that we've formed since, December, mid-December. And we have a nice progression of these lower highs that you see on the screen that we've talked about and that we're following. And the question is, right now in my mind anyway, I don't know if many people are following this, but I am certainly following it, is this previous high at 175 or so, right in the middle of this double bottom. That's a really strong area of resistance that I really want to see us break through. And if we can break through that, I will begin to maybe start believing that maybe the downtrend is over and maybe we'll see some consolidation without this worry of, coming down and forming lower lows down here at the bottom of this trend line. So that's one thing I'm looking at. The other thing, besides this 175 line, which you have here, it's the top blue line here. The other thing I'm looking at is a kind of a random number, which is 144, the 144 line. And I'm looking at that just as kind of a support zone for where we are right now. You see, we kind of hit we hit down here in the 144, broke it a little bit back in mid-January. And then we wicked down. I don't know if you remember this day or not. I remember it. December 22nd when we wicked down to here, the 144. I mean, it just touched it. And we've really been seeing the 144 act as kind of resistance or support. So right here you can see it acted as resistance. We bounced off, and right now it's kind of just up and down over that area. And there's like this small little channel that has formed that I'm really just keeping an eye on, and I want to see the 144 area act as a support that we've kind of bounced off that 142, 144 area quite a few times. And you see it acted as resistance right here. So I want to see what happens there. If we do downtrend, this would be the first thing I look for, which is breaking that support. And then from there, I'm really looking at the 175 area. I want to see if we can break that higher, that lower high that we had back in, what was that? That was last week, correct? The 4th, February 4th. So one thing I also want to throw out there is I want to look back at the bear market. And I always like coming back here because I know this was like a long time. This is a couple years. This wasn't just a simple correction that we're hoping that we're in right now. But this was kind of like a couple years. We had this double bottom that we talked about before, and then we broke recent resistance, and we kind of got out of this bear market. One thing I want you to keep in mind, I guess, when looking at this, if even we took it from the bottom of this wick here to the top of this wick here, I mean, we're talking, there was an 800% gain, and then quickly after that, you see there was a correction of 73% of that. Now, I'm saying that because if you look at the life of Litecoin and pretty much Bitcoin and any other coin, you see that happen all the time. Even when it's exiting a bear market, there will be times of turmoil. This was not happy. You would not be happy to be a part of that after seeing these awesome gains. And it's very similar to, I mean, look at the chart. It looks almost like the run-up we had in December, and then the correction that we're living in right now. This is almost what it looks like. And then it happened again, up 91%. and you know, just in a week or two, down 46%. And then it happened again, up, down, up, down. So I'm saying all that because you always want to be prepared for these things to happen. So this means if we do happen to break, say we break 175 and we break that recent lower high here, and say we do form a new channel, say we start consolidating and we start feeling like we're out of that bear market, it's definitely important to be aware and ready for any time for some crazy gains. And when that happens, have a plan. And I say that because most often than not on these crazy gains, there's always that pullback. So if you're the type of person that wants to pull profit, have a plan for doing that and stick with it. Don't buy in or don't fall into just the FOMO and that fear of missing out on crazy gains. Have a plan and stick with it. So I know I'm not trying to get ahead of myself with that, but I want to liken that to right at the end of this market, the bear market, the gains that we saw then, and something like that could happen here too. So just be aware of that, and that's the plan on the upside, right? Now the plan on the downside is, and you can probably remember or go watch a video I did a few days ago on my buy zones, and I had some heavy buy zones in the 80 to 100 area. So I look for that 144 area to kind of break, and we can just track to see if we do revisit new lows. Hoping that we don't, but you never know. So you always want to look at both sides. We always want to use these lines to help us tell the story, not so that we can predict anything, but just so that we can be ready. So have some fun with it. Remember, don't trade or invest more than you can afford to lose. Trade conservatively is my recommendation. Have an awesome day, and God bless.